The Full Circle Podcast. Compelling interviews and incredible tales from Colorado's western slope, from the mountains to the desert. Christi Reese and her team hear from the movers, shakers, and characters of the Grand Valley and surrounding mountain towns that make the western slope the place we all love. You'll learn, you'll laugh, you'll love with The Full Circle. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to The Full Circle Podcast. I'm your host, Christi Reese, and I'm really excited today to have our guests and talk about one of the most incredible projects in Grand Junction residential living, which is Redlands 360. So we're here with the project manager, Jane Quimby, and also one of the custom home builders, Phil Goetzmann. So welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So Jane, let's start with a little overview of Redlands 360 and how this project has come about, because it's a lot of people know about it, but they don't know the scope of it and how it got to be where it is right now.
Sure. So Redlands 360, it's what we call a master plan community. It's a little bit different than typically what you see around Grand Junction. Mm-hmm. It's a long-term project, probably a 25 to 30-year build-out time. It started with the acquisition or partnership with a landowner who has owned the land that's associated with Redlands 360 for many years. Mm-hmm. And he essentially wanted to finally develop the land that he's held all this time. The original intent of the land was for it to be a executive links golf course to kind of a companion with Redlands Mesa. And then as time evolved and golf courses probably were not viewed as that much, not as desirable and also not profitable as a residential real estate market. And so we partnered with the landowner as the developer. And as we like to say, he had the canvas and we get to paint it.
Mm-hmm. And you are a member of La Plata Communities. What's the name of your organization?
La Plata Communities.
La Plata Communities, I thought so. Out of Colorado Springs, but Doug is your brother, and he has a history here, as you do, in Grand Junction. So some people have said, well, this is a out-of-town person coming in to develop this land, but not really.
No, we grew up here. Doug's had a long history of property development, primarily in El Paso County in Colorado Springs area. Mm-hmm. And we actually looked at this property, like buying it outright, going back more than 10 years ago and partnering with the landowner that we're partnering with now. But it's always been a really cool piece of property. And because of our ties to the valley, it was kind of, I guess we look at it as someone was going to build on it at some point in time. And we wanted to make sure that it was built right. We wanted it to be something that the community would embrace as a positive project and something that long-term was going to be a desirable place for people to live. And so even though, Doug's obviously living in Colorado Springs predominantly, but he's over here and I'm local, and that's kind of how I got wrapped into the project. He was coming over here to look at things and talk through things. And people were always coming up to me saying, your brother needs to know this, your brother needs to know that. And pretty soon it was like, well, maybe you should just hire me. Mm-hmm. And that's how I ended up.
Yeah. Well, I think you've done a great job with the PR around this project and the communication around this project, because obviously anybody that's familiar with the location knows that it's been a recreation area for a lot of the residents, even though it's always been private land. The landowner has allowed people to recreate on it graciously. But one of the wonderful things about the project you have planned is that it keeps a lot of the open space and the trails intact.
Yeah, and I think that comes from recognition that, number one, we want to be a good neighbor. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to come in here, and there were plans over the years for that piece of property that people would really not have been very happy with. Mm-hmm. And part of it's our community vision in terms of the projects we've done in Colorado Springs. But the idea was to embrace the recreational aspects of the property and utilize that as kind of a promotional sales thing. Those lots sell themselves because of the recreational amenities that you have. So rather than get rid of those and just create a massive housing complex, people want to live there because of the recreational values that we share as part of the vision for the community. Mm-hmm.
It's 660 acres in total, correct?
It's actually 620 acres.
620, okay.
Yeah.
And how much of that will be open space?
Roughly 30% is designated open space, but that's even a little bit misleading because obviously once we plan out the various filings, there's going to be additional open space that will
within a filing.
Exactly, within a filing. But just in terms of the broad perspective, our outline development plan sets out the number of acres that are set aside currently, and it's roughly 30% of the overall property.
Phil, I want to turn to you now and talk a little bit about building in this area. So you have been building since you were a young man of 21, I read, right? Yesterday, just a few years ago. But primarily in the Colorado Springs area. But you came over to look at this project and really fell in love with this area and wanted to build some custom homes here. And tell us about your experience in the Redlands 360 project so far. And come closer to the mic for me.
We ended up here because Doug, Jane's brother, called me one day and he said, "I understand your boys go to CMU." And I said, "That's right." And he said, "Well, Phil, I think you need some lots over here." And my reply was, "How many lots do you think I need, Doug?" So we have built in La Plata's communities for some years. And we love their communities. We love La Plata. They do an amazing job. They are the premier developer in Colorado Springs. And we love their subdivisions mostly because they have value. When things get tough, other subdivisions didn't do so well. And La Plata's subdivisions, because of what they are, did very well. And so we came over here and we started building in Canyon Rim and then moved up to Easter Hill.
And one of the things I know about La Plata communities, my experience with them so far, is one of the reasons their subdivisions do so well is because they're very meticulous about how they plan and the CC&Rs and the architectural controls.
That's right. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every lot connects to open space. And they do that in Colorado Springs as well, which is a really super unique development trait of La Plata.
Very unique, yes. And right now in Easter Hill, that's 51 lots total. There's only 2 builders there, you and another builder, but you're building beautiful custom homes, and we had one in the Parade of Homes, and I hope a bunch of our viewers and listeners got to go see it, but if not, happy to show it to you anytime. Building some gorgeous homes up there, and a lot of them are on that bluff, which is open space behind with unobstructed views. It's just spectacular.
It's amazing. The views are just incredible up there. Everybody has a view.
Absolutely. So after Easter Hill, Jane, what's the next filing that you all are working on?
Well, actually, about a week and a half ago, we turned in our next application to the city. The next phase we call Filing 2 is going to be known as the Corner at Redlands 360. It is a 125-lot multifamily development. It's essentially going to be attached townhomes at the corner of South Camp Road and current South Broadway or Redlands Parkway, depending on your perspective. And that's going to be kind of built in probably 2 primary phases, although we're not phasing it per se, but we'll start on the west side of that parcel and around 50-some units there and 70-some units on the other side. And when I say the other side, it's bisected by wetlands. And so rather than trying to figure out like, hey, how can we get rid of this problematic wetlands, we, in our design of that community, have embraced the wetlands, made some really cool trails. There's actually going to be a pedestrian bridge that will cross the wetlands instead of a road.
Nice.
To promote the walkability and more community aspect. And then we'll have some park land and open space within that community. But that's the next phase. And we're hoping that, depending on the city process, which can be challenging, we're hoping that we'll start moving forward with some preliminary construction over there, just grading and starting to get the roads in late spring, with building starting hopefully this summer.
And not only some multifamily, but some commercial aspects to that corner as well, correct?
Yes, there are a couple of, I think it's 5 acres roughly of commercial, we'll have commercial pads, and that'll kind of evolve over time. We don't have a specific plan. We're not going to go ahead and develop out those pods or those pads right now. But that is part of the future of that parcel. And the idea there is to make that more of a community-centric commercial side where maybe a coffee shop, we'd love to have a rooftop bar.
Yes.
Maybe a small type of restaurant, not a big, draw, but something that if you live in that community, you could walk over and grab a cup of coffee and a pastry or a sandwich. We're also talking about potentially maybe a childcare facility. That's a real need, not just in the Redlands, but certainly in Mesa County, but particularly in the Redlands. There's just nothing like that out there. And incorporate that type of commercial and embrace the recreational aspects, because eventually that will be connected to the 600-acre parcel up top with trailheads and bike lanes. And
so that will be one of the primary access points up into the bigger part of the development, correct?
yes.
Okay. I think a lot of people have trouble visualizing where all the connection points are going to be. So one is going to come through the current Canyon Rim area where we have lots for sale and doing some custom homes there. What a lot of people call the Bentonite Hill, because we all ride our bikes up there, right? So that'll be access that'll go then all the way down to 23 Road.
Correct.
Correct.
So 23 Road, and that's what we call filing 3. We're actually submitting that next Monday. That is, at its core, just a road filing. It's not specifically associated with lots that we've developed or identified so far, other than geographically. But we will be building an entry road that will basically be an extension to the south of 23 Road and a realignment of the existing roads over there to bring us into that area of the parcel. And then, to your point, the corner parcel, the corner at Redlands 360, will have a road that goes through it, and then it actually snakes up the hill, and we've got preliminary design, but that will be a primary entry as well.
Okay. And as far as phasing goes, I know a lot of people think, there's just going to be giant homes up there. It's, obviously it's a very desirable location, and the Redlands tends to be a little bit higher value in a lot of its homes and construction, but you're going to have all types of properties, sizes of lots, and I'm assuming there's going to be some bigger lots eventually that are bigger than what we have in Easter Hill, but talk about the phasing and what you envision for the different neighborhoods.
So over the course of time, this is, like I said, a 25-year plus project. We will have some custom homes, but I think in the outline development plan, we're talking about a minimum, I think the approved plan by the city is between 1,300 and 1,600 units. The overall plan, the true custom homes, like maybe something you'd see at Redlands Mesa, is a very small percentage. I think it's somewhere around 75 custom homes. And so the focus will really be on a diversification. I like to say diversification of people, product, and price. The idea is that everyone can't afford, and now even $1 million, that's become more of a floor. It's crazy. But the idea is that you shouldn't have to have $1 million home to have $1 million view. So our goal is to be able to incorporate a number of different types of products, whether that be townhomes, we may have some apartments, we may have some patio homes, like more of a type of place where you don't have, it's like an over 55 low maintenance type thing. The idea is just to have a number of diverse products that people at different price points and stages of their lives would like to be and still take advantage of all the recreational amenities we have in the community.
Yes. And Phil, speaking of different price points, you're offering quite a wide range of price points in the Easter Hill area, starting in the low 7s for a beautiful unobstructed view lot with a gorgeous home there. Talk about the different homes that you're building.
Well, and going back to what Jane said, we have what the developer calls segmentation. So different builders get different lot sizes. So we try and offer different price points so that we cover a wide variety of affordability. So we start at about $750 and go north from there. The most expensive home we've sold to date was about $1 million.
And that home has a lot of square footage. I mean, ranch with a walkout basement with about 3,800 square feet.
Right. It seems unusual that we do walkout basements here, where back in the Springs, every chance we did a walkout basement, and the walkouts are selling really well here. Yeah, it's a nice feature.
That Easter Hill area, the lots tend to be, I don't want to say smaller compared to what people are used to. They're more like the Redlands Mesa. So they're not 1 acre lots by any means. But the idea is to kind of cluster the homes so that the open space is there. And is that the same kind of development you have in Colorado Springs typically with La Plata?
It is. Going back to segmentation, you have 50-foot lots, 60-foot lots, and in Colorado Springs we have 70-foot lots. And I think at some point we'll probably have 70-foot lots here.
We will.
And it's all based on price point. Yep. So the flatter lots we do crawl spaces, and in the steeper lots we do walkouts.
And the views on the backside on that. I don't want to call it a cliff, but a bluff maybe. Really gorgeous. But then you get the Book Cliff views up there too.
Oh, yeah.
Are stunning.
We, our forte seems to be outdoor living. And so, and we do that on the front of the house and the back of the house. And it's so awesome that, the neighbors can walk the street and you can sit out on your front porch and offer them a cup of coffee in the morning.
Right. And then just down the street, there's a trailhead, and that will remain intact, correct? At least a small parking area there, or do we not know yet?
Actually, that trailhead will evolve into a complete park, paved in the future, a complete park node, a true trailhead. Right now, the parking lot that's there was done as an accommodation for the current users. And those aren't necessarily people, probably not people that live in our community, but they were people that have traditionally been using that land. And eventually there will actually be a park as well as a trailhead at that location.
Wonderful. That makes a big difference for the buyers in that neighborhood, don't you think, Phil?
Oh, absolutely. Grand Junction seems to be all about outdoor living.
It does. And when I'm up there at the model home, I can't tell you the number of people that I have walk in the door that say, we moved here from Denver 4 years ago and we couldn't be happier. We can't believe the access that we have to recreation. And we're telling all of our friends they need to come this way too. And I think this is the kind of community a lot of people want to live in.
It's true. A fair amount of our buyers come from the Front Range. And because it's, again, the recreation, and it's a slower pace.
It is. Jane, can you talk a little bit about the other amenities that Redlands 360 community is planning down the road?
Well, I think, and we have a master plan, park and open space plan, which is publicly available and accessible. And that includes 11 different parks of varying sizes. I think we have 7 separate trailheads. And we'll have other open space that's not developed, but just trails. And I don't even know the total number of miles of trails that we have, or that we will eventually have. That's a kind of an ongoing process. So obviously the trails themselves are probably the biggest amenity. And then at some point in time in the future, we probably will have some type of a community amenity. And one of the things that we're really good at is listening to our residents. Like, what do you want? We know from experience certain things that sell well and that are desirable for people, but this is a different type of community. I mean, obviously, probably one of the top things we've heard from people is a pool, a community pool, and some type of maybe meeting space, and that the construction and development and design of that amenity will be over time as we develop the property, the various phases, and kind of hear from our residents. It's really important to us. The one thing I think we've consistently heard is a community pool. In addition, we have 4 plateaus we call the 4 brothers, and we've committed.
And if you're up at the Easter Hill area, you can see them very clearly.
Yeah, and we've committed to not doing construction of houses. They would make beautiful, unsurpassed lots to put houses up there.
Yes.
But we've made a commitment in terms of our planning and vision that we'll have amenities to kind of connect those. And those may be things like a hiking trail or developed hiking trail. It may be some type of a, covered gazebo, some type of observatory where you could look through some, a telescope or whatever. So there will be some interactive things to do. Again, just embracing the outdoor lifestyle and recreational type things. What we don't want to do is shave off the top of a hillside and put 20 houses up there. And so that's part of the experience, that when you say amenities, the true thing for us is going to be very well designed and interactive type recreational things.
I think that's something that we talk about a lot up at the model home at Easter Hill, is when you look out over that landscape saying there's not going to be a huge house perched on the top of those hills so that it feels like it's imposing on everybody else.
One thing La Plata does really well is what they call pocket parks. So, maybe it's as simple as a bench where you can sit down and have a bottle of water. They do that really well.
And maybe some art installations. That's what I saw in some of your projects over in Colorado Springs.
Well, and we have a lot. We've been partnering with a local artist. Many people here are familiar with Jeff Bates. Jeff did some landscape sculptures for us. He started in Canyon Rim, and those we've carried over to Easter Hill. We're talking to him about doing some design for our roundabout. We want to embrace sculpture and public art as part of our, vision for this community. And to Phil's point about the pocket parks, those are, available for our residents, but they're also publicly accessible, for the greater community.
And I want to thank you for the art installations. And I think anybody that has been up there will see that that's just a symbol of the caring and design that you put into your projects. There aren't any other monuments or entries like the ones that I'm aware of. I think they're just beautiful.
Thank you.
The sculpture and the modern design of it. It's really nice. So obviously this is, there's some public land there. I think some people have been concerned that this will be a gated community. We talked about maybe a pool and a community center. That would be reserved for community members, but the trails will remain open to the public. Is that correct?
That's correct. And one of our parks will be, and we have an agreement with the city, will be like a city type park where we may have, and we've got preliminary design. There probably will be pickleball courts. There will be an amphitheater. There will be some type of a shade structure, picnic structure, field space, that sort of thing on a bigger scale of what you might expect of a city type park, as well as smaller parks that might just have a climbing wall or some type of apparatus like you see over at Las Colonias or Dos Rios, a little smaller concentrated area. And all of those facilities will be accessible for the public. So the pool, and that'll be to determine at a later point, but let's say we have a pool and maybe we have a fitness center, and we might have some private pickleball courts or whatever it ends up that we do. But the city park type that I was describing in the pocket parks that Phil's describing, you're out for dog, we'll have dog parks. So you bring your dog, that's not restricted to just residents. That's something that the public can come, they can park at a trailhead, they can jump on their bike, they can just take off walking and take advantage of any of those amenities.
One of the things that occurs to me as a real estate agent is, when I see a new project opening, I know that if you get into the ground floor, you're going to have a very valuable piece of property down the road. And when you think about what people can purchase now in the Easter Hill area and coming up on the corner, and then the incredible value that they're going to get with the amenities that are going to go into the future it's just mind-blowing. Like, get in now, people, right? This is a good time.
Well, I think, Christi, we've seen with the Easter Hill, like people come and there's almost like the fear of missing out. And they might want a bigger lot. They might be wanting more of a semi-custom, or I'd like a 70-foot lot. But you know what? There's something available now on a 50-foot lot or 60-foot lot. And it's made so that you can like graduate and go someplace else. Or maybe you then decide, I've been on a 60 or 70-foot lot. I really want to go maybe down to a townhouse. So within the community, that's the whole idea. You could actually age out in place over time, depending on the type of product that you want to live in.
And along with the segmented structure that you talked about with a variety of prices and styles, we have houses that are great for families with kids. We have houses that are great for retirees, single level. I think a lot of people that live in the Redlands want that one level lifestyle, but we have a variety of homes for all kinds of buyers.
The models that we have, we like to think cover all those bases.
Phil, in Colorado Springs, you all are pretty familiar with metro districts. Is that correct?
That's true.
And not a problem or question is something that you've been developing and building with for a number of years.
I would suggest to you that all the new communities that are being developed at this point have a metro district.
It's a fairly new concept for Grand Junction. We've got a couple of them here, but Redlands 360 is in total is a metro district, correct, Jane? Yes. Could you explain to our listeners a little bit about what that is?
I guess the easiest way to describe it is kind of a funding mechanism. The types of things that we're doing, if you took this property and relied upon the city or the county to put in parks, to put in trailheads, to maintain trails, it would never happen. They could have the promise of, someday there's going to be a park. And we've seen locally, Matchett Park as an example, where it's sat for decades until the city had the ability to do that. And so a metro district provides a funding mechanism for us, which is based on mill levy. And there's a calculated process that you go through, which also allows us to utilize, it's part of your property tax bill. Mills are set by the district, and there's some very, very strict rules about how metro districts can function. And we've utilized metro districts in all our communities in Colorado Springs very successfully. It's just relatively a new concept here. And what that also allows us to do, yes, you're going to be paying for these great amenities that we have, but it also changes a little bit the dynamic of what people here are familiar with, the HOA fees.
Right.
So right now, like in our communities, and Phil actually has a place in Canyon Rim, he pays 0 HOA fees. However, as part of his annual property tax bill, he is paying into the metro district, and then we utilize those funds for maintenance of the landscape. The city has no responsibility as far as maintaining our trails, keeping our parks up, taking care of anything. We use the metro district as a funding source to create and maintain a community that is at a level that you just wouldn't get with just normal city or county services.
So when people are looking at their assessor record and their tax bill, there's going to be an extra line item on there for the metro district in addition to the other items that they are charged for in their taxes.
Sure. So like typically on a property tax bill now, you might have something, if you're in a water district, if you're in a sanitation district, the school district, the various mill levies that are set out. So the people that reside within our community would have a separate line item for Redlands 360 Metro District.
And that is deductible on your taxes as well. I mean, it's part of your tax bill, so there's an advantage in that regard.
Correct.
So Jane has to set aside parks as part of the development. The city mandates that. So Jane takes that park space and enhances it now because she has the funds to do that. Whereas if you didn't have the metro district, it would sit there and grow weeds. So our customers have the benefit of enjoying this beautiful space now, and it gives the community value.
Definitely. Well, I hope that people that have questions about the metro district will call us, call you, get in touch, because I think some people have been nervous about it, but it's really a brilliant solution, and it provides for so many great things in the community.
Totally is.
Yeah. Not to say that people will never have HOA dues there. Is that correct?
Yeah, as an example, for instance, the townhome project that we're going to do, there may be some features for those townhomes that wouldn't make sense in a single family residential development, say at Easter Hill. And that might be something like community or collective trash, or snow, not that we get snow, but snow plowing, landscape maintenance. You know, there might be some different things. A future apartment building, it may make sense in addition to this potential community pool, but maybe we decide that as part of the apartment complex, they have their own pool. So it's a little different than, I've got the community pool, but if you live in those apartments, you've got your own pool dedicated to just your residents. So there could be in the future HOA fees that would be associated with special restricted community amenities that would not be otherwise available.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about the phasing and going to the corner next, and then 23 Road roundabout. Is that right, on Broadway?
Yeah, there will be a 23 Road roundabout at Highway 340 and 23 Road. And filing 3 that we just are going to submit on Monday is actually an internal roundabout, which is the extension of 23 Road to the south. And then the next phase of actual units will be just south of the existing Easter Hill. We're calling that filing 4. And that will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 to 50, again, single family, typical residential lots that'll be varying sizes, maybe 50, 60. I don't know if we're going to get to the 70s yet, Phil. But similar to Easter Hill, custom in terms of the lot sizes, same kind of price point. And then we will look at next down the road, might be some more higher density that I hear a lot patio homes. People want low maintenance, single level ranch patio homes that
there's a real demand for that for sure.
Yeah. And so we're always trying to let the market tell us and our potential buyers, what do you want to see next? And trying to be nimble and figure out, okay, here's what we need to do at this particular location. And it's just going to evolve over time in terms of what the market desires and what people are buying.
I know I've been to some of your community meetings, and you all have been really good about holding meetings and being transparent, allowing people to come ask questions and showing them what's going on. Anything coming up in that regard? I know you just had one about 23 Road.
We just had one about 23 Road. And I actually just two nights ago had a meeting with neighbors, a subset of the people from the 23 Road meeting, to just share some information. The city participated in that with us. So we, under the current approved plan, we're not required to do typically these community meetings. It's just a thing we do because we want to be good neighbors and we don't see any value. It works to our disadvantage if we become kind of this cloistered, well, we're already approved and so we're going to do whatever we want to do and we don't care what the neighbors say. We're always constantly trying to reach out to the community and take concerns to heart. And there's things that we don't think about that are important to people. And so I think that's one of the hallmarks, I think, of our company is that we want to have that public face and that interaction and that buy-in from the community, because those are the people potentially that are going to buy these houses and be all in and help promote our community.
Phil, I'm sure when you came to see the project initially, probably brought a big smile to your face. It's a beautiful piece of property. Surrounded, I called it the donut hole, was development all around. And I know that there was a big push by a lot of people in our community to try to get it to remain open space, but just not feasible to have the city or the land trust come in and buy something like that. Does that happen in Colorado Springs as well? Do you get people that are saying this needs to remain open? But
of course, everybody's got the mentality of not in my backyard. And but the reality is, La Plata is being a wonderful steward of the property.
I agree.
As are the builders up there. Done a really great job with the development so far. Got to come up and see it, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And the views are stunning.
Jane, up at the top of the hill is the water tower and the repeater, whatever, cell tower. How do those fit into the development up at the top of the hill? Well,
the water tower, actually, there's a little piece of property up there that is owned by the Ute Water District, and that's one of the primary feeders for people out on the Redlands. And then some of the communications equipment, thankfully for people that are here, Verizon, I think the city also has a tower up there, and that's part of some lease agreements with the current property owner. And it's a strategic location. And so we just have kind of learned that we have to embrace that. We can't get rid of the water tower. We're probably not going to people wouldn't want us to, what do you mean? I'm not going to have my Verizon tower on the Redlands anymore. And so those are things that are on property that is not ours. Some of it is ours, and we'll just incorporate that as much as we can. As an example, that Ute Water property up there are numerous trails that transect that property.
Yes.
And we went to Ute Water and said, look, we would like to partner with you because people are going to be riding their bikes and hiking and walking across your property, and we don't want to claim a trail system that we don't own. And they were wonderful to work with, and said, yeah, we'll work with you guys and we'll allow public access across our private property as part of your trail system. And there's some things that we need to work out in that agreement with them. But again, that's just part of our ability to work with stakeholders and partners who embrace our vision as well to serve the community at large. And we kind of joke about, well, can we change the color of the, can we show films, right. on the,
on the
side of the tower? Can we decorate with Christmas lights? So that's just one of the natural things that's there that we have to kind of embrace. And what we found in previous projects is some people look at it and go, oh, I don't want that in my backyard or in my view shed. And then there are other people that it's like, it's just always been there and it's there. And so they don't even notice it.
Right. And is there a connection to the golf course community at Redlands Mesa?
Believe it or not, we've had some discussions both with the city and we've talked to the Redlands Mesa folks, and our ultimate goal would be to have some type of a connection, whether that is some type of a sidewalk, paved path, golf cart path. We've had some preliminary discussions with the city to allow golf cart vehicles in our community because it makes sense. Right now, you can have golf carts at Redlands Mesa and out near Brook Cliff Country Club. It takes a city ordinance. So we've already started having those kinds of discussions because it just makes sense.
They're regulated on the streets, but
Correct.
Not that they don't want them on the sidewalks, right? They want them on the streets. Yeah.
So we'll look at, because we think that's a natural partnership with them. It'd be great for us to be able to access. So you go over and you go to the restaurant, you can go play golf. And our community members, the residents that we have, we think that would be appealing to them. And it's just trying to figure out the logistics of the best route and how we make that work.
Well, I appreciate your time today. I think this is just an amazing project. And I know, as we talked about, even though so many people would love for it to stay open space, it just wasn't a possibility. And so if it's going to get developed, I'm so happy that La Plata has partnered with the landowner to make this just the best community possible, with lots of open space, lots of strict guidelines on building so that the homes that are being built are top quality and fitting in with the natural surroundings, right? How many different design elements are in the homes that you're building now, Phil? There's a mid-century modern.
Right. We have three different models. And within those three different models, every model has a minimum of 3 different elevations, whether that be mid-century modern, modern gable, prairie, what's another one?
We also allow desert.
Modern desert.
Modern desert.
Yeah.
And
So it's very cool.
All of those design elements have to be approved by the overall developer to keep some uniformity.
The developer sets, and it's very unique, and in all their subdivisions, that the developer sets the style of home that can be built. It's fabulous, and every development that they do has a mark, a trademark that you can see that's special. Yeah.
You know a La Plata community when you see it, when you come into it in Colorado Springs.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I hope that our listeners and viewers will take the time to learn more about the project, call us to have a tour, look at the homes that we're building, but also learn about the overall project and what the possibilities are for ownership for them in the future, because I think it's just a wonderful place to live and a great community. So.
And Christi, I just want to say we do have a website, redlands360.com. And this is perfect because this is your Full Circle podcast.
Yes.
And our tagline is Redlands 360, live life full circle.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And you do have 360-degree views up there, don't you?
Yes, we do.
It is beautiful. Well, thank you for your time today. Anything else you'd like to share?
Thanks, Christi.
And you have
we appreciate this.
You have a website too, Phil.
We do. It's Goetzmannhomes.com.
So you can look up information on Redlands 360, the development, and Goetzmann Homes. And we welcome your phone calls to learn more about this project. And happy holidays to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time on the Full Circle podcast. Have a good holiday, everybody. Bye. Thanks for listening. This is Christi Reese signing out from the Full Circle podcast.